dolls with their nails done now.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Gaming Nerd. Tonight, we have some delicious data collection with more of the automatic reactor controller, trying to figure out which one of these is best for everybody. And along the way, I'm thinking I might explain my approach somewhat. I'm gonna reach out to a couple friends here and make sure we got some the audio is working. Tell you what, I'll just wait for somebody to say something if the audio is not working. I hope it is. In the meantime, what do we have left to do? We need to populate the automatic controllers over here. I've decided I'm just going to sneak them over here so it's much less tracking around here. At the last second, something's going on with this little circuit here that controls the activation of the timer. And other than that, we're just about ready to start testing with this thing. One over here. So yeah, we can change this, no problem. And we can change this, no problem. Oh, we want the too comfy one. Can I change this? No, I can't interact with that again. Wonderful. Seems I might have reverted back to a previous save. Lovely. Let's bring that forward. Not that far forward. Just and there. Okay. Let's make everything but those two buttons not hidden, non-interactable. Okay. Load select. Is that? Yeah, all this stuff is non-interactable. That's good. That's good. That's good. Okay. Hey, if there's just viewers, please feel free to say hi. It'd be appreciated. That way I know I'm not just talking to myself, which I really feel like half of these YouTube channels, including my own, are just justified reasons for talking to yourself. And they're gone. Lovely. So yeah, red light means it's blinking. Still getting nothing from here though. It's weird. Means our load isn't being triggered. Ah, yes, that's what I was working on last time. Let's change this to something like just a little bit above gray. See, that's what I was looking for. Something like that's still there. Okay. Let's see. This is Wi-Fi channel 101, which is over here. 101, target power select. So this should be 101 too. Good. Yeah, that's awesome. Don't know why this is here. Tuck this back in here. There's a bunch of components hidden up here that I should, oh no, I guess that was them. Okay, so regex says if that's greater than 0, turn it off. No, if it's exactly 0, turn it off. Okay. Viewer number 2, or possibly one returned. Hello. Okay, this nifty little circuit I want to go through with you guys because I feel like it justifies explanation. I thought it was clever. Maybe you don't. I'm just still going to explain it. Oh man, no more viewers again. Alright, so we have 1, 2, 3, we have 8 loads. Think of a resistive load, trying to keep it a little bit more realistic. They have loads of 1,000, 2,000, 4,000, right? You'll notice that these are multiples of 1,000, right? But it's also 2 to the 0, which is 1, 2 to the 1, which is 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128. So theoretically speaking, through any combination, through combinations of these loads here, I should be able to generate or simulate any load, multiple of 1,000, that is from 1 to 255,000 kilowatts. That shouldn't be terrible, but it's necessary because I want to start testing and see what the effective reactor power is, because it might turn out that some reactor controllers are better for the chips like the Dugong or the Azimuth. And some reactor controllers are more suited to like the Beryllia or the R29 or something. So that's the goal. I'd like to figure out all of how these things interact with the natural frequency and the damping ratio. I'll explain those a little later if you want. Somebody asked for it, you never know. In the meantime, I gotta figure out why this is not triggering. Is this perhaps falsely triggering? Quit on its own? I don't know. I don't think it does. No, this is okay. So what this up here does is, so this is a multiplier times 25. So this 25 multiplier interfaces with the oscillator here, which determines its frequency, and it interacts with this division block here. This division block, so this oscillator generates a pulse once every blankety blank second, so this is once every 25th of a second. And that pulse goes through this relay into this addition block and feeds out with whatever is coming out of this memory block with the addition back into the memory block. So when the whole thing starts, it starts off at 0. And then when the first pulse comes through, that goes 0 from the memory block plus 1 from the oscillator. That's 1. So the value of 1 gets stored in the memory block, and then the process repeats itself. So this is essentially ticks of how many times the oscillator has ticked or pulsed or whatever you want to call it. So dividing that number of ticks by the rate at which the ticks are being generated gives you time, roughly. And so the goal is that so this is a 10, this is a 3, I think. And it's a combined, if you use an exponentiation component with those, that turns into 1,000. So taking the results of this division block, multiplying it by 1,000, rounding it, and then dividing it by 1,000 again, basically what that does is that gives you 3 decimal places. It truncates any decimal places after that, which allows 2 things. One, it lets you make your math a whole hell of a lot smaller when you import it or export it out of this thing. And number 2, these text displays will show 4, maybe 5 or 6 digits before they start marqueing. So if you put something in here that's longer than it can show, it'll go black, and then you'll see the text slowly scroll from left to right. Unfortunately, there's no way to change that scrolling speed, nor is there any way to change the threshold, short of using EK mods, which everybody chews on, but I like EK mods. EK mods have some helpful stuff. They have some really OP stuff, so I can understand why people don't want them running in campaign. But just for dicking around, like they've got interesting ideas for reactors. They have fusion reactors. They have larger engines, diesel engines, generators, so on and so forth. So where was I? Oh, okay. So this one feeds the time into here. Now you'll notice that this relay here has. This oscillator has to pass through a relay, and incidentally, if you look into it, so does the signal coming out of the memory block. So both the new value going into the addition block and the old value coming from the memory block, also going into the addition block, are completely interrupted by this relay circuit. Hello, new viewer. Welcome to the stream. So as I was saying, this is a simple addition circuit that counts up with every tick of this oscillator, which is currently set to 25 ticks per second. And what this does, so when this relay turns on, oh, hello, hey, what are we making? Okay. This is a reactor control circuit tester. Because I have the video on perfecting reactor control, which still somehow drives more than most of my views, and is completely outdated, but it's a 23 component PID controller, and it is. People have asked me ever since the new power, what do they call it, the rework to the power system. People have asked me how over and over and over which reactor controller is best, and then they fight me on it when I tell them what I think is best. So this is going to be for proving once and for all exactly which reactor controller is best. We're going to use things like rise time, overshoot, to calculate things like unsettling time, to get things like oscillating frequency, damping ratio, and natural frequency, which should allow us to determine which reactor controllers give us the best response. And I suspect that it might be situational. Some reactor controllers work with low power reactors like the one on the Dugong or on the Azimuth, Yeah, exactly. That's what I like to think. So, anyways, I was just explaining how this works here. This circuit is a timer right here. So this is a pulse generator, goes into a pulse counter, and then the same thing that drives the frequency of the oscillator drives this division block. So you divide the pulses by how often they're happening. You get seconds. This rounds it to 3 decimal places, and then spits it out into here, so you can write it down. The other part of this is this is the startup test configuration. Basically, I can specify whatever load I want here in multiples of 1,000 up for 255,000, and this little circuit up here will simulate that load. Like I said, from 1,000 to 255,000 kilowatts. And then once you hit this run stop button, it unlocks the reactor's fission rate and turbine controller so that it can start climbing towards that load. And then once this reaches, I think it's 96.5 is the threshold in auto controllers. It's been a long time. I took auto controls like 2002. So it's been a while since I've done a lot of control theory, but this is, I think rise time is 96 or 95%. So once you hit 96% on of this load from a dead stop, this stops the timer. And that's like a rise time is a legitimate measure of controller performance. Obviously you want it to be instant, but then you introduce something called overshoot, which I don't know how we're gonna calculate that automatically. I'm 99% certain we're gonna have to do that just by plotting it and then looking on the graph, which I've already come up with a way to do that. So anyways, so these are all outputs. These are the channels that we can read with the Wi-Fi. I found a way of collecting all of, ideally it's just 4 inputs, but I can take 4 channels. So this is, I think, what's this? I'm making a control theory course for my undergrad right now. Rise time is typically 90%. Okay. Control theory. Awesome. Another engineer. Interesting. So we have, okay, so you know what I'm looking for. I'm looking for damping ratio and natural frequency so that not only can we figure out how well these things are controlling, we can figure out if they're raising or lowering the natural frequency, which would make it prone to oscillations. We can see what their disturbance rejection looks like. And then we can laugh at the native autocontroller, which actually, incidentally, I put it on this list because it's not that bad. It's not that bad. Okay, so here we have the timer runs up. So I pick 4 channels here, and then I use the color component, which is a sneaky way of concatenating 4 different values with commas in between. So this takes 4 channels and stuffs them together, and then I put that in the concatenate block, which goes into a memory block, which feeds back into the concatenate block. So this just cycles happens over and over and over and over and over, and all of these values stack up on themselves. And as long as you don't forget, like if you find a memory block and you plunk it down, right, this thing's capacity is 200 characters, right? So as long as you remember to change that to something like a bunch of characters, then what you can do is notice that there's no timer controlling this thing. It just happens every single frame, every process frame, which I believe is like 60 hertz in this game. Those values are going to stack up real quick. So let's, I really don't know what I did to this thing. I don't know why the reactor is not reacting. But anyways, you'll see what I mean here in a sec. So we go over here, hit the run stop button. This is going to run for a bit and do absolutely nothing. And then we stop here. We go back, press this button to copy it into the big block, and then boom. Those are all zeros, but that's how it goes. And then you can actually just copy that into the clipboard, and then I have a program in MATLAB that allows me to dump the clipboard onto it and then plot the results. But right now, I just want to look at the timer for now because that's going to be a rough indicator of how well these things work or how they don't change between them. All right, what's happening? This is where the signals come in. Let's have an idea. We're just going to fix it. I think what it is it's the controller selector is it's not sending the right control signals. So we're just going to, where's this coming from? From adder component. Okay, we're going to disconnect that, and we're just going to call this channel 1, which I believe is the two-component controller that are the three-component controller that I have over here. This is channel. Where's the? Oh, hang on. The signal block is looking for channel 1. Okay. And this one is on channel 100, which is incidentally target. No, it's not what we want. 100. There we go. 100 is controller select. So that Wi-Fi channel is on channel 100, which should correspond with this one here, 100. So by setting this value to channel 1 or value 1, it's going to hang on here. It's going to act and like enable this. So this is a not mine, but the popular three-component controller. So this is your target reactor temperature. This is your reactor controller, and this is your turbine controller. For Green Mage Nadav, you might recognize the term bang bang controller from your class. This is a bang bang controller. Basically, when the condition, so this is load, this is power, this is temperature. When load is greater than power, right, this circuit turns the turbines to 100% output. And then when load goes less than power, it turns it back to 0. Before the rework, this was happening like 60 times a second. Now it's happening like 12. Possibly less, because I do know, the one thing I know is that if you were to go into the reactor UI and grab the slider and plug it all the way to the right, the reactor would respond, I don't know what the time is, but we'll say, call it 1 second. They've fucked with the math such that any signals that accomplish the same thing, so jam that fission rate slider to 100%, it will respond 5 times slower. Right? It's not that they've changed how it listens to these things. It's not like they've introduced a dead time. It's not like they've introduced any sort of fuzzy logic controller. All they've done is slow the response. So and that makes it really difficult to add a controller for. Oh, hello, cat. If it was dead time, there's equations for that. If it was a scaling factor, there's equations for that. But if they just put a hard limit on how fast the reactor is going to respond to any signal coming into those ports, I don't know what to do about that. So we're going to find out what the best way to deal with it is, at least in terms of a reactor control circuit. My reactor caught on fire because my bang bang controller was too slow to lower the yeah, that's what I'm saying. So right now the reactor controller, the two component or three component, which essentially the same thing, one just uses a regex to find the temperature, the other one uses greater than. I think it's easier to mess up the regex, or somebody to step in and mess up the regex. If you didn't write it, you might not understand what changes they made, and so it screws with you until you Google it or have it written down or something. Whereas using the greater than block and the value, you can not only tune it. Oh, you didn't use a regex. Oh yeah, well, that's fine. I'm not hurt. Both of them are tunable, where you can change the target temperature of the reactor, and B, they're very simple in terms of wiring and troubleshooting. So it makes more sense to use those. Yeah, that's just why I do have a two-component controller that I want to try. I found it on the in the workshop. I have 5 or 6 that I want to try, not including the full PID, which I'm tempted, but goddamn, it's a lot of work. Once I figure out what's wrong here, so that over there is working. We figured out that the selector is working. Let's just try that. See what happens if I fix something. If I did, that narrows it down. I suspect I did not. Okay. Two component V1. Yeah, that's the wrong one, but it means it's index 1. All right. There we go. We got reactor input 0 and 100. That's okay. Interesting. Turbine output's going up. Why we got 0 going into the fission rate controller? Oh. Hang on. Where are we? This one. So this one is getting a signal from channel 106, which is 106 is, oh, interesting. Yeah, 106 is temperature. Is that right? This is 106. Okay. And temperature should be 106. And that one gets its nuclear reactor temperature out. Okay. So what's happening to the fission rate that's not getting sent? Memory component is, hang on, what's the memory component? It's 5,000, okay. When when the desired temperature is greater than the actual temperature, relay component should be sending this. Okay, hang on. Aha. I might have flipped these around. Hang on. What's this one? This is 105. 105 is fission rate. Aha. That's what I've done. This is 104. Okay, I see what I've done. 105. 104. And this is 105. Okay, that should fix this. Alright, let's see what happens now. Change this like 4,000. There we go. Whoop. Yeah. Alright, and we see that our rise time was 4.76 seconds. Now, let's see what happens. Okay, so yeah, just to show you what, hang on a second, close this door. I have this cat that insists on holding doors open throughout the house, so if you hear something being strangled to death, it's probably not my cat. I love my cat. Okay. So a reactor is... Okay, well, for baseline, let's just look at the native autocontroller for once. Okay, we're going to disconnect. Yeah, we're going to disconnect these. Uh-oh, where did I just get that one from? That one has nothing coming out. Okay, and this one is not connected to anything. Okay, good. Alright, so now we have two broken connections, which means if we leave the autocontroller on, this is still going to hold it down to 0 because I've got this circuit holding the fission rate and turbine rate down. So this should have autocontroller. We'll leave it off just so I don't screw with it again in the future. Okay, let's see what the difference is between the native autocontroller and our 3-component controller. Turn this one on, but there's no load. Oh wait, the load says 1,000. Great, hang on. Was it 4,000 before? 4,000? Alright, and go. Actually, no, that's not going to work because the timer's already running. What do I want to do here? How do I want to fix this so the native controller takes over? Which one's this one? Is this 104? I think this is, yeah, this is 104. Okay, so that should go into the top. This one should go to the bottom. Relay signal 1, relay signal 2. Nope, messed it up. Okay. Okay. Okay, let's try a different controller exactly then. Instead of doing the native one, let's try this 2-component that I found. First of all, we need to make some way of identifying when this one is being in use. So we'll say, does a native controller work if the other signals are dead, or does a game look for connection? Connections, okay, so in barotrauma, this is, man, there's so many times I wanted to make a video about signals. So in barotrauma, there are blank signals, so a connection that is physically made, but there's nothing being sent. There are 0 signals where there is a connection made and there is a signals being sent, but it's not, it's just a 0. It's right. There's also null signals, which is there is a signal being sent, but it doesn't have a value, which is different from a blank output. And then there's non-connection. So for example, if you look at the shutdown wire going into the reactor, anything that's not a broken connection, like a 0, a 1, an A, a B, like a switch that's not even turned on or like a push button, anything that's physically connected to the reactor will trigger a shutdown. At least last time I checked. That's actually old working knowledge. So, but that one you have to have a broken connection. So hang on, let's see. Let's try. Hang on, we'll put this here. Put a relay here. Put a Wi-Fi on it here. Oh. Okay. Actually, you know what? If we're gonna do this, let's put it way over here. Actually, no, we want to do the physical connection. This is what I'm talking about. The physical connection matters. I tried using on Wi-Fi to control my shutdown, but the fact that there was something physically connected to it was a problem. Right? We're not going to put anything. This is going to be a blank memory. Okay? There's nothing in this. And we're going to say signal out to here, and then set state relay. Okay, and then we'll put a little... Put something here, put a button on this, I guess. Call this channel 200. I don't think of anything in the 200 series on this one. Right, put that here. Put this one up here, put that one on channel 200. Right. Now, you'll notice nothing stored here, okay? Blank. Right, Wi-Fi component has 200, and that's controlled by this button. Right, actually, for now, let's set this to toggle, not set. Do you think it's possible to make a reactor controller by using the X velocity output from the navigation screen? It's possible. Would it be a good controller? Probably not. There are many things that can demand load other than the engines. I do see how you think the engines are a major factor, and that might be a part of the... Okay, I'll tell you what. Here's how I would make... If I had to make a reactor controller from scratch and I didn't have access to anything in the game but campaign materials, I think you would have to use... the new junction boxes have... outputs that say what their power output and their load output are, right? So there's one of these connected to the engine, there's one of these connected to the oxygen generator, there's one of these connected to every single power consuming device on the sub. A security engineer who really likes his pulse laser cannon. Oh, okay. Yeah, well, the pulse laser cannon is pretty dope. It's one of the heavier hitters. I'm currently got a video in the works on damage mechanics, and I want to compare what really pulling the power. Yeah, also specs to load. Yeah, you think that's bad? Try the what do they call electrical discharge things, the coils, because those, unlike most weapons which are wired into supercapacitors, on most subs, I believe, I've been wired straight into the grid. So that spike, if you look at there's really weird units all across Barotrauma. I love the game, but the programmers, they've got their moments. They love their physics. They don't love their electrical stuff. Like, for example, if you look at the power rating on a supercapacitor or a battery, okay, the capacity is in kilowatt minutes, if I remember correctly. Right, but if you look at a weapon like the pulse laser or the railgun, right, the power draw is in kilowatt seconds. Oh no, I think it's still it is still kilowatt minutes, right? But what it's drawing is actually only for a frame. Right, so when your railgun fires, what's it, 16, some huge stupid number. Hang on. Right, if you go, where's our machinery? Right, railgun over here, plunk that down. Look at its properties. We have, turret requires 20,000 kilowatt minutes, right, for a single frame. So, no, I didn't want the calculator. I wanted the calculator. Hang on. There we go. 20,000 kilowatt minutes divided by 60 seconds. 20,000 divided by 60 seconds. 333, right? Times 0. Divided by 60. Damn it, cat. Is 5. So if you've if you oh, sorry, I've been distracted by this tiny feline of chaos. Okay, so if you have a full-on supercapacitor, these things, I forget what the default load is, right? If you get full supercapacitor, you get what, 5 shots before this thing needs a recharge? Well, there you go. 5 kilowatt minutes is what this thing draws after 5 shots. Or sorry, 20 kilowatt minutes is what this thing draws after 4 shots. Now, in the meantime, this thing's going to be recharging, so you probably gain at least 1.25 kilowatt minutes a second while it's charging. Now, here's the other thing, right? You think, okay, this thing does 20 kilowatt minutes. It recharges at 1,000 kilowatt minutes, right? Look at this guy, efficiency. 90% of that 1,000 is lost, right? So that's why... that's where all that power goes. Sorry, rant over, rant concluded. Let's put a label on this. You'll notice I don't go digging through. I like to reuse the stuff that I have because I don't like digging through stuff. It's time consuming. This is our basic, oh, hang on. 3-component type 1. Two-component. Oh my god, this cat. You give me an aneurysm. Point is that whatever control you have in an actual campaign, it needs to handle loads other than the engine. Yes. Bingo. Well said. Okay, these two need to be 10. One sec. Look, you'll come back. Get out. Oh, hopefully that's the last time he bothers us. He's cute but annoying. Like my ex. Okay, we're gonna call... You know what? In the library, they're slightly different. So, but they're already in this order. So we're gonna go with 2-component here. We'll wire this one to state out to here. Set state. Give this 0 power draw, so we don't need to worry about wiring to power. Oof. Yeah, she's, you know, I miss her, but my aim's getting better. Hang on here. Yeah, I didn't fix this one. Okay. This one we're going to set to a 0. Oh no, not the channel. Channel stays the same. Signal controller responds to a 0. And that goes in here. State out to set state. Get rid of this power requirement so we don't need that. And this one, okay. Still keep that one, load and power, okay. Sorry, looking at other people's reactor controller, I'm just like, why? Why would you do things this way? Why? Okay, what is this? This is divisor. So this is 75, supposed to be 7,500 if I remember correctly. And this is a 0. And then this output also goes down to here. I think it's divided by fuel out. And then this goes to set fission rate, which goes in here. So yeah, this one doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but you know what? I found it. It's online. I'll try it. Heat potential is channel 103. Man, really don't expect this one to do anything. Fuel it, yeah. Alright, channel 0 now. Let's check my control regex thing here. Notepad QQ is not closed properly. No. Okay. So yeah, this is what's called a regex dictionary. Where are you finding other people's controllers still pretty into barotrauma? You're the only guy I found who does this stuff. Oh, sorry for repeating the chat, guys. It helps me get it out. What? No, well, thanks for watching. If you go to the workshop, so hang on here, Steam. Do you know what the workshop is? What I'm referring to? If you do, stop me because I'm going to show you how to get there. You go to here. You say, click on the store page. Don't mind my collection. It's esoteric and hasn't been updated in a very long time. You go to workshop here, and then this is all barotrauma stuff. Be careful. So most of it is OP as fuck. It's fun to play with things that are your own. Diesel generator setup assembly. See, I'm gonna have to check these out. God damn it. But the one things that devs do that we don't really think about is balancing. Oh my god, this cat is gonna give me a tumor. So yeah, that's where I find a lot of those. There's one in particular that I've recently found. It's the magic controllers, I think, is where I got a few of these. I can show it to you in here. Hang on. I'm going to save this. Yes. Okay. Open. It's this one. So, no, it's not that one. Magic reactor controllers. That's the one. Oh. This guy's got a real good breakdown of a whole bunch of different controllers and what they do. People say, oh, try the 13, try the 11, try the 15 component controller, right? This monster, right, the 27 controller, it has docking interlock, it has an undervoltage toggle, it has fuel efficient and performance mode. Like, yeah, that's awesome, but that's not what I want to test. Again, it's the 6 component has toggleable, this true universal, whatever this means. This is going to be on our list to test, right? This one is already on. No, this is the one that I just set up now. So these are all really weird. I love that. Horrifying. It's bad when somebody says this is. And here we go. The OG, the original 5-component controller. That one's also on the list. We're going to try that. This 8-component again has toggleable components, so we won't be testing that because these are just variations of existing controllers with different settings. Once you establish which ones have better or worse, which is with performance, we might try different settings. But like, I broke it down. Like, I don't really feel like doing Taguchi tables on this thing. But if I want to try, like, here's my plan. I plan on evaluating all the different the controllers by things like rise time, area under the curve when it comes to overvoltage, and cruising fuel consumption. That's a big one that not a lot of people think about. Like if you have something that holds your reactor at 5,000 degrees, that's awesome because that's the threshold that allows the reactor to respond instantly to an increase in load. Otherwise, you got to build reactivity to build the temperature before the turbine output will start pulling the reactor temperature down. 5,000 or above, it can sustain without any jump in load, at least momentarily. But running that at 50% means you're running half your fuel consumption rate all the time. There are some reactor controllers out there that can maintain the reactor temperature with only like 10% or 5% reactivity, right? So if you have 2 reactors or 2 controllers that can do the same thing with the same amount of fuel, the same amount of heat potential, but one of them consumes fuel significantly slower than the other one, I would consider that one superior to the one, assuming they both have the same power performance. So back to reactor testing environment number 5. Concurrent viewers. Oh man, I'm getting numerous viewers, but they're trickling in one at a time. Green Mage, are you still there? Speak to me, Mage. Okay. Oh yeah, I wanted to show you guys this. Oh, hang on. Hello. Okay. A bunch of reactors shut down already because relays are default in the on position. So, because I have this set to toggle, it would have been already on, which means our reactor would shut down. All right, so check this out. We're going to look here at the reactor. power is on, right? Go here, tap. Click. Did that do what I wanted to do? No, it did not. Interesting. I can't reach up there. Of course I can't. Okay. They might have fixed this, in which case I commend you, Barotrauma. When there is no signal being made, the reactor is fine. Well, but when... Oh, see, yeah. Okay, so let's put a 1 in that... Okay, 0. This should be shut down. I don't get it. Oh, wait, yes, it is. Power is off up here. Push that button again. We can turn power on. We push it again. Power is off. We can't turn it on because the relay is being held open. But the point is that if there's a 0 in here, hang on, you know what? Let's put a light on this relay. I gotta turn down the lighting in this hull anyways. Hull. Okay. Ambient lighting. Let's make it like a 20. It'll be dim, but it'll be easier to spot what I'm trying to show you here. Okay, so we're gonna put a light on this relay here. 255 90 0. Nice orange light. Why is this still white? I'm not racist, but that's not what I want. Okay. Okay. So, no orange light means the reactor can run. We turn on our controller, right, and reactor starts running, right? There is currently a 1. Please calm down. Okay, good. Alright, so there's currently a 1 in this memory block, right? Push the button, reactor shuts down, right? Can't turn it back on because the relay is holding it off, right? Turn that on, we can turn the reactor back on, right? Now, I'm going to get rid of this signal in the memory block here, okay? Push this button, and reactor shuts down, okay? That is no signal coming from the memory block, but the reactor still shuts down, okay? I am going to disconnect the memory. Oh no, hang on, not this one. The memory block. So this is disconnected, right? You can turn this on. Nothing happens because there's nothing connected to it. But even if let's just pick something benign, like let's put a sign block or something. It's just like a positive something here. Oh, that doesn't work because they don't produce outputs. Well, yeah, let's just put another relay here. Something that, anyways, anything that has a value. If it's 0, A, -5, pi, whatever you want. If it has a value and it's connected to the reactor, like this has nothing. This has no value, right? And we're going to turn this on and it will shut the reactor down. Right? There is no way that there could be anything in that memory block. Right? Look. Right? Nothing. Right? We push that button. Boom. Power down. Notice no orange light. Right? So any physical connection to a signal source in barotrauma will trigger a shutdown. So, who was asking? I think it's possible to regulate reactor control. No, that's hang on. Anyways, we were talking about... Oh yeah, that was you. Hang on. Okay. Does that answer your question? Question mark? I don't remember fully what the question was, to be honest. Okay. Take that. Okay. Oh yeah, we were looking at... Okay, awesome. Think so. Good enough. Alright, so we have 1 is our native. No, it's not wrong. 0 is the native. 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I'm not going to run all of these. But right now, the two component V1, I'm not going to run 2 component V2 because that's just the regex, which is the same thing as the 3 component controller. I found a 7 component, so I want to put that one in. 3 component type A, 2 component, we already got set up. 3 component type B. Interesting. Okay, we're going to put that one in there. 3 component type B. What's this? It's just so I'm understanding, right? A not connected signal to a Boolean field on the reactor axis is 0. Any connected signal. Okay, Boolean is an appropriate term for what we're talking about, but not applicable to the reactor's input, because a Boolean response implies that a true is a 1. So in barotrauma, anything that's not a 0 is considered true, right? But that also means that 0 is the only false condition. But what happens when you connect that to a reactor is that even a 0 will shut down the reactor. So it's not a Boolean input as you would expect, right? Shut down, yes. Shut down, no. Don't shut down, true, false. No, unfortunately, or I don't know, fortunately, it depends on how you set this up. Any non-blank signal, it's Boolean in the sense that is yes, I agree, but it's not the same Boolean as other Booleans in the game. As long as you can make that distinction between the two of them, then yes, it is Boolean. All right, where was I? I was looking at this. Okay, we have 2 component V1, 3 component V1. Okay, he gets it. Awesome. 3 component V2, 5 component. Hang on, this should be a 2 and a 3 and a 4. We'll call the 5 component V1 because I found 2 of those. V2. Oh no, these have to be spaces because it uses underscore to separate the two. Oop. Yeah, for those of you paying attention for regex, this is a little bit of regex black magic for you. 5 comp V1, 5 comp V2. I think I have a 7. Yeah, I do have a 7 component that I want to try. 7 comp. And I really don't want to work it. Oh, yeah, I've done the PID so many times it takes no effort to put together. So we'll call 7 full PID. Okay. Now. Go in here. Alright, got to go, but thanks for taking some time. Anytime, bro. Anytime, assuming I'm online. Oh, I am Canadian. We've already done our Thanksgiving, but absolutely Thanksgiving to yourself as well. It is football day for my dad. He's watching like 8 games simultaneously. But yes, happy Thanksgiving. Happy holidays. Tis the season. We got our first snow, I think, last week, and I'm already miserable and waiting for springtime. Thanks, Green Mage. Have a good night. This one's for you. So we're down to 1 concurrent viewer, I'm sure. If you want to say hi, you are welcome to be part of the conversation or the focus of it, depending on what you want, what you're looking at here. All right, regex still. Just spit these out. Okay. Why is that Wi-Fi way over here? Now, this is 2 component. This should be class 1. There we go. And this is type 2. So, let's see what happens when we switch to type 1. Oh, I deleted a hull. What do you know? Ugh. Yeah, that was a neat trick. What happens when you don't turn hulls off? Hulls. Oh, hang on. I want this to be 255. Oh. Let's see what happens. Okay, should be 1 lit up. Yup, there's 1. And now if we switch to 2. Oh no, did that even get the click? Oh, I've disconnected it. Victim of my own progression. Put this down here. And move this here into here. Alright. So we can see that the 2 component is selected. And now we switch to the 3 component. Now the 3. That works. Now hang on, see if our reactor still works. Boom, baby. Oh yeah. Look at that. Typical oscillation. Makes sense. I don't know what's... Yeah, it doesn't go away, does it? It kind of wobbles back and forth there. Alright. Let's... I noticed some extra wires hanging out here. That needs to be hidden. That needs to be hidden. That needs to be hidden. That one needs to be hidden. That one needs to be hidden. Okay. Now let's make some fancy stuff here. I just want to put a couple lights on this thing so that we know when the test is running. Lamp. Rotate 90. Okay. Yeah, I'm just messing around at this point in time. Make these all 10, 20s. 0 power draw. 0, 0. 0. It's 100% train. Oh, wait, not yet. Okay. Need to put a relay in here. Now, what's powering this light? Relay component. Okay, so it's a set state from the relay. All right. I know this doesn't really have anything to do with anything else. I just like being able to look at something and be able to tell instantly if it's running or not. I think they call it Kanbans in Toyota. Now, fun fact, you can make a lamp transparent and the lights should still light when you light them. If that made any sense whatsoever. Yay, reactor turns green. Awesome. Awesome blossom. I digress. I'm getting distracted. Oh well. Okay. Okay. Let's put some more controllers in here. 3-component type B. Okay. Okay, so we still need one of those. And then we need one of these. Okay, this needs to be fuel out, which is heat potential 103. And okay, this is supposed to be 100 and 0 if I remember correctly. Yep. Oh, this is the 7500 again. Okay. Signal out goes into the signal check block. No, that's a target, set target signal. No. Signal in. Output is nothing. False condition is 0. And target signal is 7500. Okay, why is there a fuel out signal there? Set output maybe? Yeah, I think that's what's going on there. Okay, so signal out from here goes up and away over to here. Set output, meanwhile, is also being fed into the denominator of here, which gets its numerator from here, which goes to the set fission rate. I really, oh man, I don't see this working. I mean, that's ugly. I don't know how to make that prettier, but it is what it is. Okay, signal out here. No. Oh, interesting. So the divide component controls the fission rate, not the turbine output. Makes sense. That's a little bit more sensical to me, but crap. Okay. This one's gonna be type 3. I don't even know what's going on there. Oh, man. I'll pretty that up later if we know it works. Okay. Alright, then we have 5 component ones. Okay, hang on, we're going to move these all. Hang on. All of them up to about here. Okay, 5 component type 1. Okay, a little space in here. Put this over here. Put this down here. Okay. I think this is the OG. What I have written down here is the okay. I believe this is nothing to do with power, so the power can go away. Yeah, I've got this written down somewhere else. Hang on. Ah, boy. Sometimes my notebooks make sense, other times not so much. Impulse loading. Yeah, it might come in handy later. Hello, viewers. Welcome to the show. Feel free to say hi. Hello, sir. How have I been? Straylock! Oh, my goodness. It's the man himself. I have been doing... What, how have I been, or where have I been? I don't know if anybody noticed. I'm hoping nobody did. I left the stream running the other day. I came home and it's like, hey, 74 views. Oh, shit. Yeah, that's that goofy 5. Here's a 5. No, that's not the 5 component. I have been good, Straylock. I have been better than I deserve. It happens. Yeah. Yeah, I hope so. There's a signal 6 component that looks weird. Okay, hang on. We're gonna... I didn't want to have to look it up on the... We do it, but I'll have to do it anyways. Okay, save. Yes. Open the magical reactor collection. This is an interesting one. You guys are looking at reactor controller stuff. 6 component. This is the OG. Here's nope. That's the one here. Okay, so max turbine is 100. So this is max output. Hang on, I didn't write it down. I gotta make sure that I do this time. I broke my Kurotoga and it makes me sad. I want to switch to watch the stream last night studying. Yeah, I keep getting DCMA'd for music, which is why you may have noticed that I'm not running music right now. And like everything I use says copyright free, feel free to use, just credit me in your description, and then it gets pulled, which is kind of pissing me off. Max power divided by 100 goes in there. Is this limited? Yeah, it is. It's clamped to max 100 here, but it doesn't have a minimum clamp. Yeah. Last stream for the components. Man. Tell you what, Straylock, I've been thinking about this because I tried to make a big ass video about components. It just exploded. It turned into like an hour and a half long, and I knew I wasn't going to get anybody to watch it, but it broke down to the GitHub how signals are transferred around in barotrauma. And you say BRB, but I'm going to keep talking because it's what I do best. So anyways, I have been racking my brain trying to figure out a way. How does automatic work now since the nerf? Okay. They still work. Just not as good. The way it works is, I was just explaining this a couple minutes ago. If you imagine, I don't know what the time is, so I'm just going to say X. You go into the reactor UI, you grab the fission rate control, and you slam it all the way to the right. Okay? The time it takes for the reactor to respond to this change in fission rate, we'll call it X. Okay? If you were to do the same thing, send a signal into this fission rate port of 100, which is the same thing as going into the UI and jamming it to the right, it would happen at 5x. It would be 5 times slower, and that's just artificially enforced, right? It's not like there's a dead time response. If there was that, I could design a controller for it. It's not like they've scaled the response differently. If there was that, I could design a controller for it. But they've limited the speed of the reactor's response to incoming signals from the ports to 1/5 of the speed of that made with the UI, which means that it's very, very prone to overvoltage when there's sharp changes in load, especially down. There seems to be an interesting solution I found. I haven't tried it myself yet, but somebody rewired one of the batteries in their sub to buffer that load. Basically, it keeps it depleted, and when there's no load and everything's going to get overvolted, the battery starts charging to draw the extra voltage down until the reactor can catch up. Again, haven't tried it. I think that's how it works. What's this? This is 75, isn't it? Yeah, it's a 75. And this is fission rate. This is fuel out. Okay. I want to go back to my test room 5. Okay. So the answer to your question, how do reactors work since the nerf, that's the how. If you want the why, I can't really help you there. Okay, so this needs to be, hang on, load is power demand, channel 108, and heat potential is 103. So, 108, is that 103? Look at that. Okay. We have, yeah, interesting. Yeah, they really didn't like the auto controllers. Like I talked to a lot of the devs, and I said, "What are you doing? Give me some sort of hint," because that video is kind of my bread and butter on the channel. And they wouldn't tell me. All I knew was that they didn't like the nerf. I worked a lot with the guy who did most of the programming, Torka. He's awesome. Hang on, I'm doing this wrong. This isn't a multiply, it's a divide. Okay, that's a multiply. Then there's 2 divides beside it. Okay. Divide and divide. Hang on. Put this here. I know it's silly to worry about aesthetics right now, but okay, so this is 108. This is our load. I think it's here. It goes load divided by this one, signal out, which is our reactor's max power divided by 100, which is, oops, 20,000 divided by 100 is 200, if I remember correctly. 200. The divisor has a clamp at 100 for the max. It goes into here, and if I remember correctly, this also goes to turbine output. Yes. So this one goes down to turbine output's the bottom one. Okay, now this one is a fuel out, which goes in here. It gets divided by 75 for some strange reason. Again, I don't know all the math or why these people came up with these numbers. So go in here, 2, and this goes into sufficient rate. Okay. Do you happen to have a copy of the stream? Yes, but if I post it, they're just going to take it down again because of the music. So here's my question, okay? Rather than make 1 hour-long video about all of the different components, how about 1 video per component? It would be very short. There'd be a lot of repetition, but you'd be able to go exactly what you need. That's all I can think of. If you like the idea, let me know. If you don't like the idea, well, I'll go find a corner and cry somewhere. But I swear to God, I'm smart. All right, let's see what this one does. Okay, 4,000 watts. 2-component V1. Okay, is that the one up there? Oh shit, the lights are on. Oh, I know what I did there. I don't even know what it would do if I tried that with 2 controllers running at the same time. Oh, this needs to be a 4 here, I think. 4, 3. Yep. Would they still take the video down if it's unlisted? Yes. Yes, they do. Any use of copyrighted audio is prohibited. which is, it sucks. I hate playing this game without music, but it's not as bad as it used to be. I used to run this old GL703 Asus laptop. The fans on that thing would fucking sing when I tried to run this game. You can imagine me playing anything else. Video per component would be nice for short-term help. However, I really like the long-form content. Oh, okay. Well, I'll tell you what. How long are you going to be here, Straylock? How long do you have? Dedicated one stream to you. I don't mind doing another one. You seem to have you're an awesome live studio audience of one. Because I can halt this, and if I know it was the video and the audio that did last time, I even have a sub that I started. Just vibing for the moment. Okay. You know what? I started this for you. Maybe we might have to do this in parts, but for now, I want to show you something that I made. See if it still works. I've been up and down on it. Okay. Here we go. The components bonanza. Check this out. Okay. So. Oh, why is this light turning on? Oh man, off to a great start. Hang on. This light is not turning on because is this one? Oh, there's no light there. Okay. Yeah, the real stuff this time. Yeah, move this down a bit. Toggle this one over here. And wire it into this AND output here. Okay, check this out. You're going to love this because I made this completely for something I'd already said to you. So if you want to hear it twice, go ahead. Okay, so there you go. Let there be light. We can take this wire off the ground. All right. And you screwdriver in hand. Connect it from here, signal out to here, set state. Right? Ta-da! Let there be light. Moving on. There are two really important types of signals in Barotrauma, especially when it comes to data. Power signals are another whole other beast, but there are toggle signals, which will, if you look in here, right, this goes into the set state port, right? A toggle signal is constant. The 1 is constant and the 0. Dude, those motion components with the lights. God tier. Oh no, man, come on. I meant to have them all hidden so that you couldn't see it running. You know what? Hell of it. Give me a sec. Yeah, I don't really. It's an awesome. Oh my goodness, LinkedIn, go away. Nobody likes you. Okay, down here. Hidden. Should be all of them. That one's hidden. Okay. I don't know what's going on with this thing. Why is there a relay? Oh, I used this to make sure everything was level. It's a plumb line. Okay, not all of these are ready to go yet. Can you show how you wired them? How does the motion light work? Oh, okay. We can do that. So I wanted to have these on so that they're on little single sessions at a time. So what I've got is a motion controller here and a motion controller here. And where they overlap, this AND gate would be satisfied. And it feeds into the lamp's set state port. Alright, now you need to have this as a 1, the AND gate as a 1 and not a 0. Because then it can turn the light on, but if you have a 0 in here, if you stand still for too long, it'll turn the light off. Right? Even if you're there, you're not making motion and they are motion sensors. Right, so they'll turn off. So by taking away their ability, well, by default, AND blocks don't have a false output. But if you did have a 0 in here, you want to get rid of it because you want to take away their ability to turn the light off. Then, what you do is turn this guy and overlap him with this guy. And then when this guy, so when these two motion sensors are satisfied, as in when I'm traveling through this little block right here, this guy has a 0 and he goes back here and turns this light off, which I don't think it's, yeah, this guy will now turn this light off. Let's give it a try. Okay, boop. So, switch does nothing until you wire it to the light. We'll save that for later. Okay. Yeah, they kind of worked. Okay. All right, that's cool. All right, so this one Toggles turn it on and off, right? But notice you have to, so here's what's really important. This is called a toggle switch. If you open up the properties in the Submarine editor, it has a property called isToggle. You can disable that and turn this into a button, but basically if the isToggle property is enabled, it will stay in whatever state you leave it in. So if you click it, it turns on. If you click it, it turns off. Impulse signals, on the other hand, like the ones from buttons, are inherently a single frame. You push the button, a 1 comes out for exactly 1 frame. But here's the important thing. Whereas the toggle switch sends a 0 when it's in the off position and a 1 when it's in the on position, the button impulse only sends the 1 for the frame that it's pushed and sends nothing for the rest. Okay, not a blank, it's just nothing. There's nothing coming. So these guys, you have to wire to the toggle state port. Okay? Now, this is beneficial because you can have multiple signals coming into the same thing, but you got to make sure, like I did for that AND gate back there, we have to make sure that you're not sending 2 signals at the same time, right? So, for example, you look here, right? We can see when this one's on, it's a 1, and when it's off, there's a 0. Okay, now, watch this, okay? When I push that 1, it turns off right away, but the text display stays as a 1. It's because of a property called persistence, right? When the value of 1 arrives in the text display, it stays in the text display until it's replaced. All right, now, coming over here, just a common mini assembly that I have. You might see it in some of my other videos. You'll see relays with little red lights and little red and green lights on them. I like them because you can look at a glance to see if the relay is on or off. This is the same thing, just higher, lower. This introduces the concept of the NOT gate. The NOT gate, oh, come on. The NOT block or gate, or logically it's called a gate, but in baritone we call it blocks, I guess, or components. The NOT component takes whatever signal it's receiving and makes it the opposite, right? So, right, when this is on, it's off. When it's off, it's on. Hopefully that makes sense. Stop me if I lose you. And this gives us an interesting ability to do something. So with a switch, this isn't a big deal, right? Toggleable on and off, right? But buttons are different because they don't generate a signal, right? Now this one, oh crap, what did I do here? I turn this off, there we go. I think this needs to be continuous output too. There we go. Right, so this input should not be, this light should not be on. Right, but for all intents and purposes, when the switch is not being pushed, this light should be off. And this light should be pushed when the light is on and then stay on. But what we've done by introducing 2 NOT blocks, remember, the NOT blocks take anything and turn it into its opposite. So a 0 is a non-true signal, but so is a blank signal. So when there's not a blank signal coming out from this, when there is a blank signal coming from the button, this NOT spits out a 1, which goes into the other signal and puts it a 0. So basically what I'm trying to say is right now, this light is actively receiving a constant 0 signal, which doesn't normally happen with buttons, right? It happens with switches, but you'll find that switch, that mechanism useful sometimes. All right, here's another setup that you guys might like. See, here's my relay with the 2 indicators that I was talking about, right? This is a button, right? I put that light there to show when we click it or not, right? I think it's probably on way too long of a delay. Hang on. Oh, I can't change that. What about is there a delay block in there? Oh, I can't get in there. Anyways, so when this, you'll notice, okay, the button goes to the relay over here, right? Toggle state. When you push the button, it switches it to on or off depending on what its previous state was. But this relay also has a NOT component connected to it, right? So when that signal leaves this block, it gets switched and goes over here. So what this does, it goes into the NOT block here, comes out of the NOT block here, goes into this relay here at the set state port. So what that means is that this NOT block is setting this relay to the opposite state of whatever this relay is, right? So what that means is that you have 2 relays in opposed conditions. So You'll see this in the reactor controller because I have 0. So when it's on, the reactor controllers are doing their thing. When it's off, it's sending a 0 signal to the reactor. Hopefully that's clear as mud. All right, now logical components. The AND component requires both one and the other to be input. So hang on, as always. Okay, now logical components. There's the OR gate, right? One or the other, right? Or both. That counts. Now, there's also the XOR gate. Anybody know what the exclusive OR gate does? Pop quiz. Very rarely used, but I'll give you, say, 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Exclusively one or the other. Exactly. If it's both, it doesn't work. If it's false, if they're both false, it works. But if one's true and one's false, it works. Very good. All right. Now, logical components. Oh, that's just one that I copied over. Now, here's what we're going to do that's a little bit more different. Okay. I'm going to delete these two. Actually, no, I should delete one. Damn, hang on. Yeah. I want to put a switch on one. Okay, need to go for a moment. Please continue. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a memory block over here, and we're going to try putting different values in the memory block and seeing what happens. Right? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to push a button over here. Where is my relay? Okay. Toggle memory and toggle. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Well done. It's kind of sneaky, but I like it. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to put this on a button here. And we're going to connect that button through 2 NOT gates, like we just showed, to right here. Now, I want you guys to pay close attention to the circuit that I'm building, okay? So we have, oh shit, it doesn't help if I'm going all over the place. So button into 2 NOTs, which we just talked about, going into the set state port, not the toggles port, the set state port, okay? Input 1 is going to come into the signal 1 in here and go out from here to the input of signal 1 of the AND. The memory block's output is going to go into set text here, signal out here to the signal channel 2, which goes to channel 2 here, goes there. Now, we're going to leave this blank for now. What do you guys think that button's going to do? Hang on. Double knots are definitely for the persistence, but not in the way you might guess. So what I want to do is be able to put a signal in here and a signal in here and then push a button to test and see what happens. And because then I can prompt you guys and be like, hey, what do you think is going to happen now? Right? And so if I without that relay there, this memory block, as soon as it's updated, is going to change the output, even if I do it wrong. Okay? And this text display tells me if I've done it right or wrong. So by having a button on 2 NOTs, right, that 0 condition of the button comes into play. So instead of sending a 1 and nothing else, it sends as 1 and 0s when it's not being pressed. And because we know the text display and the inputs to the end port have persistence, whatever values come through this relay briefly for the 1/60th of a second that this button is being pushed, they go in and then the relay closes behind it, and so what we're seeing is the current value. So let's try it. Oh shit. Wrong button. I want to go up here. Okay, I want to turn this light on. Just leave it on. Turn this off. Hang on, the lamp gets, yeah, just turn these off for now. Okay. this one over here. Okay. No, so swinging it's a cool mechanic. Okay, so if I put a 1 here, all right, and we turn this one on here. Oh man, that relay's on. Okay. Let's put a 0 down here. Keep forgetting that relays are on by default. Okay, what's going on? Why isn't that turning it off? Toggle state, set state. See, this is when we need one of those little lights. Just for now, I'm just borrowing this light, okay? Don't judge. You're gonna need a wire for it too. Okay. Yeah, I know. I could probably go back to the editor and take this faster, but why not? Nope. Come on. What's going on? Why are you so weird? Oh, it's because I usually have my screwdriver on the 3 button. State out to set state, and you see she is on. Oh, these don't have the continuous output. That's the problem. Boop, there it goes. All right, yeah, barometric controls. All right, that's the problem, right? So now, see when I push this button. Okay, now if I change this to a 1, it doesn't change right away, but as soon as I push. Okay. Interesting. So the end component is not receiving signals. It doesn't send a signal. And if it's not sending a signal, then it's a false condition. Okay, that makes sense. Right now, let's try something a little bit. I think I know how to fix this. All right, watch this, ladies and gentlemen. This is how you fix a stubborn circuit. If it's not gonna maintain persistence, we're gonna give it persistence. So what's gonna happen is that relay is gonna pass those signals into the memory blocks, which are gonna remember whatever value they hold until they're overwritten, which should. I'll take these, make sure I forgot to turn these on. Yep, classic me. Okay, turn this one on. Put a 1 in here. Boop. That turns on. Turns that to a 0. Boop. Light turns off. Okay. Now, for example, I'm going to put in the letter A. What's going to happen? Light on or light off? 10 seconds. We have an on. Straylock, you there? Survey says on. Very good. Do you know why? Yes. Bingo. Somebody's listening. Anything that's not a 0 is interpreted as true. Now, I think they fixed this. Right? Yeah, see, even 4 zeros are considered anything that it's more than a 0. If I put a 0 in here, push the button, light goes out. Right? I put 4 zeros in here, computer says, whoa now, that should be a single 0. If there's more than 1 0, that's not a bunch of numbers, that's a bunch of letters, and it just happens to be the letter 0. Right? So that's logical components. So that's logical inputs, right? Yeah, so the same thing applies to math. There are some components that just won't produce an output if there's not 2 signals coming in. Pardon me for a yawn. Yes, exactly. Werewolf. It is interpreted as a string. That's what I mean when I say a bunch of letters. Um. So yeah, that's the end of my components hallway. Went to XOR and then went to this other one. Oof. There we go. So back to the reactor controller we go. Actually, you know what? We're gonna save this. There's been progress made here, so we're gonna save this. The components bonanza. Okay. It's the type 1. I think this goes into fission rate. Did I get that hooked up? I did get that hooked up. I don't really want to test these until I have them all in. I know it's kind of like spell checking your report after it's written, but you know what? I like doing things the hard way sometimes. Alright, 5 component type B. Where are you? Okay, you know what? We're just going to skip to the 7 component for now. And then maybe I'll wire the PID. Okay. These can go away. These get unwired. Okay, we need another channel for loadout. Nope. Just the 2. Wow. Wow. Okay. So we have a division block. I wrote them in my notes from right to left, and now I need to switch from left to right. Okay. Division block. Memory block here. And then another division block here. Another one here. Memory block here. Another memory block. Hang on here. Division memory. Oh, it's... What am I doing? M, X, division, okay. Oops. Okay. So this one needs to be 100. This one needs to be clamped from 100 to 0. Okay. Load out goes, this is load, yeah, 108. Okay. Load out goes into here. Signal in divided by max power. So it turns it into a percentage anyways. And then that is fed into this one, which gets divided by the efficiency, which is this one, which is 100. Okay, now this one comes out and goes to turbine output. Okay. Okay. This one also goes down here into the top of this divisor, which gets fed from the... Okay. Fuel out is here. Divided by 75 for some strange reason. Take that here, plug it in here. This one here. Oh. This is our set fission rate. Okay. That's our 7 component. What do you think? Do we do the full PID tonight? It wouldn't take me long to piece together. No, this one is, so this needs to be a 5. What is 5? call this one a 7 because I think there's another 5 that's supposed to go in there. 7. Okay. PID. Plus feed forward. Alright, I haven't tried doing this from memory. Let's see how this goes. It's been a long time. Okay. One of these needs to be temperature. Temperature divided by 1,000. Divided by 1,000. Minus 5, I think. Where's the subtract one? There it is. So that takes it from temperature from like 10,000 to whatever, and then minus 5 because 5 is your set point. That creates an error value. Put this into a relay because it's really the error that we want to track. All right, so if your set point's 5 and you subtract 5 from this, if it goes up to 6, the error comes out as 1, which is true. And if it goes to 5, if it goes to say 4,000, the error becomes 4, or sorry, it becomes -1, which is also what you want. Okay, this here is to split these up. So I have the proportional controller up here. That one. We have the derivative controller, which is the delay, relay minus delay. This one and this one divided by this one. Times this one. So this is your derivative gain. This is your time constant calculator. This is your step. This is your change. So what this one does is that, let's just say we set this to 0.1 or 0. Yeah, call it 0.1 for now. Right, so if when you feed this relay signal into this delay block, it comes out, in this case, 0.1 seconds later. Okay? If you subtract that value from the new relay value, like this, what you get is the change in this value since the last time step. Right? So we're going to plug this into here. We're going to divide this by the number of time steps, which I don't have a memory block yet. And then we're going to put this into here, which multiplies it by what we call the derivative gain. If I remember correctly, this is like 3, and then there's these two. I think this is like 0.1. And the other one, the integral gain, is like 0.01. Hang on, this is Shisabola. 0.16, I think. I don't know. Like I said, I'm doing this from memory right now. Leave me alone. Okay, so the proportional gain goes up here, multiplied by this value here. Okay, yeah. Now the integral is something slightly different. So we got to say the integral is the change in, no, it's the error times time. So this is going to be equal to the same thing. You know what? I think I know what I did last time. All right. Oscillator. Not. Call these continuous outputs. Put this into here. What's this? Use this magic for smoothing out the engine node, but I have no idea what values you're using this for. I'm going to use this as a reactor controller. Alright, at least I'm going to try. Set state. Oh my. Private dating chat girls. I hope that's not permanent. Looks like it. Wait, I can block this person, can't I? Report. Unwanted commercial content or spam. Okay, done. Report and block, yeah. Put user in timeout. Hide user on this channel. There we go. Messages will be hidden. Okay. Where were we? Okay, so this is the time. Okay, so here's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to synchronize all this shit together at the same time. We know that if this has a memory block, we'll call it like, put it like up here. Say we want 25 frames per second. Once you start approaching 30, you start in like you reaching this weird zone where it can't process it in time. So 25 is about as fine as I'm gonna do. Or you know what we can do is because we're gonna need it later on. Is we're gonna say exponentiation. Where's my exponent component? There it is. This one. Right, with an exponent of -1, anything becomes a fraction of itself. So 6 to the power of -1 becomes 1 over 6. So putting this in here, right, and spitting this out to... Oh, I don't really need to do that, do I? The memory block then, okay. What that does is that, like, so when you want to calculate the integral, you want to carry out the area under the curve as it is, and that's the time step minus the height over the curve. So if our time step is we're going 25 frames per second here, right, and it goes into our exponentiation block, that turns that into whatever 1 over 25 is. If we're multiplying that here by the incoming signal from here, right, that's going to give us that slice out of the area of the curve that we're trying to calculate. We also need to put this value here into our oscillator as the frequency generator. But you'll notice this is a 25 and we need to flip it, which is why we use the exponentiation components. So now we need to add it up. So what we're going to do, we're going to create another memory block over here. And put a relay controller and a NOT block, and we're going to use that same signal generator. So basically, the signal in from the adder is coming from here. It's going into here, out to the memory block. I don't think I need that NOT component in here. And it goes out from here, back to the relay, back to here. In is the second component here. Yeah, I don't need that NOT block if I use that timer. So that should create an interrupted, like, looping additive timer here. Hang on, why does it not look like they're connected? Relay, okay, the relay component goes into here. Alright, yeah, so that makes sense. It's all going into there. And so this will be your sum total area under the curve, which you want to multiply by gain, which is, I think, like, so this one's like 0.01. Because integral controllers tend to get kind of, imagine, like, I've always, okay, here's how I explain PID controllers. Imagine you are driving down a mountain, a very precarious mountain, right, and there's three people yelling in your ear, telling you how hard you should be pushing the gas pedal or brake pedal, we'll call it. Okay. You have a speed at which you want to go to get to where you're going. All right, that's your set point. That's what you want to do. The first guy, Mr. P, the proportional dude. Okay, his reaction is proportional to how the difference between how fast you're going and how fast you want to go. So if you're doing like 0 and you want to do 80, then this proportional guy is screaming in your ear, but if you're only doing say 70 and you want to be doing 80, he'll be screaming 10 times less because the error level is 1/10 of what it was before, or 1/8. Anyways, the next one, the integral guy, he gets upset the longer an error is consistent, right? So if you're only 1 kilometer or mile an hour off your speed, initially your integral guy isn't going to care very much. But as that error is sustained over time, he's going to get gradually more and more and more upset. And if there's a large error, he gets upset real quick. Right, so the proportional guy and the derivative guy are going to be screaming in your face. Or sorry, the proportional integral guy are going to be screaming in your face. But the derivative guy is the chillax guy. He looked at the rate of change, right? And so if he sees that you're revving up to the speed that you're looking for, he's comfortable. He doesn't get upset. But if you're approaching your target value very quickly, he anticipates the overshoot and tells everybody to calm the hell down before things go south. Terrible, really driver's education example of how PIDs work. No, I don't need this block because we already have. Hang on here. I don't need this block. What's this? I liked it. Awesome. Also, my parents are both terrible side seat drivers, so if I'm ever riding with them, I get turn left. My mom's terrible with directions. Like, turn left. No! My dad just, you criticize him and it's like you disowned him. I don't even know what PID is supposed to be for. PID controllers are what they call predictive controllers, so they try to anticipate what a plant, which is what they use to describe the things PIDs control, what the plant is going to do and what it's about to do, and tries to correct for the difference. Okay, hang on here. We're going to divide this by, 25. So, we go out here, down to here, over to here, and then up to here, and divide by that. Now, we need to combine. So, this is our proportional controller, right? This is your error signal, which is, okay, do you get how I derived the error signal over here? Right, so your temperature is what, say 7,000, right? We want this to be a ratio. So what we do is we divide this by 1,000. Oh, did I do it? Do we divide by 10,000 and then... No, we want to be from 0 to 100 is our scale. We want to be... So this thing needs to be on the order of about around 100. So we divide this by... Is it 1,000? I think it's by 1,000 or maybe 100. Probably 100. We'll try 100 first. So this is your temperature signal coming in here. That's temperature 106. So make sure this is on 106. It is not, so 106 goes in here. 106 goes into this division block up here. It's divided by 100, which makes it, say, 70. Okay? Subtract, I want this to be 50. Okay? Because our target temperature is 50. Right, so subtract 50 from the signal, which was 70. Now we've got 20, which is true. It means we're above our signal by 2,000 degrees. The 20 goes into here, which is a relay that is being locked by this this pulsing oscillator. So oscillators, like buttons, don't produce any signal when they're not active. By passing everything through 2 NOT gates, we get a persistent 0 until those frames happen where the pulse comes. When the pulse does come, it sets the relay state to 1 for the single frame that it happens, and in that time, that value from here, right, the error message goes down to here, and to here, over to here, and over to here. Right, so that's the error, right? So up here, your proportional controller is really, all it's doing is multiplying a certain value by the by the size of the error, so it's proportional, right? If it's 10, his response is 10 times greater than the error signal, right? It sounds off. It is. It gets a huge response when there's large change, but not really much of a response when there's small change. Okay, now the integral controller responds to error over time, but it has a tendency to create wind up and overshoot, which is when wind up is like your oven or whatever is powering on, and it still, even though it's trying as hard as it can, there's still this huge error. All right, this is where I'm going to start getting fuzzy here. So this one is the fission rate controller. So that's going to be 104. Yes, 104. 104. And now I have to remember how the feed forward controller looks. Oh, crap. I don't remember that one. Well, luckily, I have the feed forward controller here, don't I? Yes, I do. Okay. Yeah, I'm totally cheating. So what? Sue me. Hang on. Wait, what? Where did that go? Oh, it says, okay, Wi-Fi. This goes to subtract component, delay component. Okay. You know what? I'm actually not going to delete those because I don't know if I'm going to make those connections properly. So we're going to add this over here. Probably going to rearrange this in a second, but for now we'll be happy if they work. Hang on. We're going to put this up here. If this is power, it's 107. No, if it's... Which way is this going? This is... okay, yeah, so that's 107, and then this one's going to be 108 here. 108. Okay. Now this one I do want to wire it properly, so... This one comes down here, over here, and up to... Oh, scheisse. Okay. That's what these are for. Almost forgot. Alright. This one comes over here. Up to here. Into here. Signal 2. And this guy goes up here. Here. Over here. Signal 1. What are the odds I got that right? Yeah, it's okay. That's the feed forward from before. Okay. And this one is supposed to be a 7? Yes, it is. Okay. Where's this one supposed to be? 7. Oh. Well, that sucks. I'll call this one an 8 then. Oh. Okay. Let's see. Full PID. Did we make full PID number 7? We did, okay. Actually, no, that's wrong. Okay. We're just, hang on. This is our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What is this one? This should be a 5. Yeah, it is. This one is incorrect. I thought this one should be a 6. It's not. It should be 7. No wonder you thought the band controller is black magic. That's like two guys telling you. Yeah. Oh, it's not that it's black magic. It's the regex I think is black magic. Yeah. Stop, go, stop. Yeah. For all the blondes out there, don't like red blonde jokes. You know what makes a vehicle go? Stop, go, stop, go, stop. It's a... Oh, I shouldn't be telling blonde jokes on YouTube, but it's a blonde driving through a blinking red light. I don't even know if they have those in other parts of the world. Okay, let me tell you, when I lived in the States, it was a big change for me. Anybody know what the Pittsburgh left is? All right, we got pick number 7. There's a full PID and run. See what happens here. Nothing. Epic. Perfect. Oh, there's no signal here whatsoever. Okay. Let's see. Okay, hang on. We got these ones here. I put this one as the reactor inputs as a diagnostic tool. So let's try, we'll step back and we'll try the other ones first. Alright, so going to 4, 3 component V1, which is that one over there. Okay, run. Okay, reactor inputs are 100, 100. Boom. Pretty cool. 4.72 seconds. Let's try that again with something else. Okay. Why is the regex feeding into here? No, yeah, no, that 4.7 isn't bad. Why? Hang on, I just need to figure out why this is, set text, regex find, output, use capture group. The fuck? Oh, I know what's going on. I've got something in here that's not supposed to be there. _7 comp v. Aha. That's why it skipped. Nope. It's just supposed to be underscores in here. It looks for that underscore. v1 underscore 4. Underscore 0 underscore 1 underscore 2 underscore 3 underscore 4 underscore 5 underscore 6 underscore 7. Yeah. Copy that in there and put that in here. Oh, that one. No. Sorry. That one. Now it should work a little better. Yeah, the thing with automatic reaction controllers aren't terrible at the startup. It's going to be the reaction to step downloads that's a big deal. Like, for example, okay, this is the 2-component reactor controller that we talked about, right? We're going to say we'll go to 5,000, which is like a quarter load. Start that, and nothing happens. What the fuck? There's nothing coming out of there, guys. It doesn't work when I do that. What is this guy looking for? This guy looking for... Oh. That's what happened. Oh, no. That is supposed to be a 4. It's this guy that something happened. Looking for a 1. What is this? This is the 108. Hang on, let's go check my notes. 108. This goes 7,500 and 0, yeah. And then this goes to set turbine output, which is relay signal 1, 2. And then it goes down here to divide, which is divided by fuel out, which I think is 103. Is that 103? Yeah, 103 is heat potential. Okay. That's 104. That's 105. If the light's on, that's getting through. So, what be going on? As Marie Antoinette once said, what the fuck is going on? Is anything happening here? Oh, that's your automatic controller. To 1. Native controller works relatively good, except under really high loads. Let's see. Situations like that the native controller usually fails at is things like this. This is not a conducive situation to the native controller. But you put on the 3 components, should be able to handle it. I don't know. I haven't tried this since the new rework. Call it 5,000. Probably going to overheat like crazy. Look at how narrow that band is. Yep. Oh, it didn't even make it to 10. Nice. So yeah, this is the kind of situation where you want, because you put down the automatic controller, it just starts climbing. And 5.52 seconds to get there is not that bad. It's the wobble. What do you mean the wobble? Like this little, that one? Is that what you're talking about? Oh. You know what we're going to do? We're going to, interesting that the I don't even have my sound turned on. Hang on. Oh, the temp wobble. Why is the temp wobble bug ya? Interesting. It doesn't go above 6,000, otherwise that alarm should go off. Interesting. I don't know where you get inefficient from. I guess it's better than, not as good as something that, what is that? Interesting. Yeah, watch that temperature's gonna go up again. Spike. I wonder what's causing that. Oh, I know what's causing that. My relay up here that's controlling this power distribution, it only goes up to, oh no, it goes up to like 1,000,000. Never mind. I have no idea where those spikes are coming from, because these are the only load that's there. You'll notice that there's a second, these pumps don't consume any power. Alright, so they're not going to affect the test at all. Weird. I need to turn that Steam notifications off so the world doesn't know my friends list. I don't know, guys. I'm just getting ready to call it. We're almost at the testing phase. But like, I'm really curious to see what happens when we get to the bumping, like going down in power. That'll be the big tell to see which ones are better than others. But for now, guys, I need to cut this short. Stay tuned. There's gonna be a new video coming out. It's about damage mechanics. It's gonna be more code than anything else. But for those of you who are interested in knowing exactly how Barotrauma handles damage and things like burn resistance or stun immunity or projectiles, and why spineling quills are such a giant pain in the ass, all those things will be covered in the new video. It should be out relatively soon. I'm not gonna put a date because that'll jinx it. But guys, thanks for sticking around, and don't forget to stay nerdy. Good night, guys.